Hello everybody, and welcome back to the second part of the Song of Seiya video essay review. I hope you enjoy. Soon we return to Fiormi. Sits along Kanbo Ryoko, his physician. With her perspective being from her. She asks him, quote, "Any changes since your last visit?" Fiori replies with, "No, none to speak of." Ryuko notes that his voice is, quote, hard and flat. His words toss carelessly into the air. It's like he's speaking to himself in an empty room, reaffirming that everyone notices the shell that Fiormi surrounds himself with. Little do they know, this is the only possible way for him to maintain his sanity. She continues to ask him more medical-related questions after this. She takes a deep breath and sighs, knowing she isn't going to get through to him this way, and reassures Fiormi that the procedure he received is the latest in experimental neurosurgery. Ryoko tells Fumori that the treatment may have unexpected complications. Fumori then shows a bitter/mocking smile. We know why, but Ryuko can't figure it out, and the smile fades as soon as it appeared. She continues on saying, quote, "Normally I'd never say anything to frighten a patient, but there have been reports of serious neurological disorders post-surgery. We must continue to monitor your condition carefully." We can infer that this is what Fumori was talking about earlier when he said, "I spend every day trying to act as I always have, as to not tip anyone off that he has these side effects for whatever reason. Maybe he just does not like staying cramped up in a hospital, or maybe it's something else. But we will return to this later. For now, let's continue." Fumori abruptly asks, quote, "How were last week's MRIs?" Catching Ryuko off guard, it's only now we find out that Fiormi is in fact a med student, as according to Ryuko, it's uncommon technical knowledge. With this, Fiormi states, "The kind of abnormality you're worried about should show up on the MRI, right? Did you find anything?" And Ryuko simply responds with, "No." Then we were told, quote, "There was nothing. Not the slightest hint of abnormal activity. For a procedure with such a low rate of success, the results have been nothing short of miraculous." However, something is bothering Ryuko. Fiormi seems like he has a heavy weight placed on his soul, but she can't do anything for him unless he tells her. Which shows just how well Fiormi keeps his hellish world a secret, but sometimes it leaks out. As if to quell any thoughts of doubt in her mind, Fiormi says this, "I'm fine. I've been on my own for 3 months now, without any problem. What could go wrong now?" She retorts with, "Please, you know continued observation is required after these difficult surgeries. You must trust me a little more." Then Fiormi asks her if he can come to her with any questions. Of course, she says. However, she knows exactly what he's going to ask, for he has asked the same question last week. As if on cue, he responds with, "Well then, let's pick up where we last left off. Have you learned anything of Dr. Ogai?" This she's unable to answer, so she responds questioning what the doctor has to do with his treatment. Seemingly trying to pry an answer out of her, Yormi states that she told him to trust her, and now she's keeping secrets? He says this in a calm way, a bit too calm, quote, almost like a detective questioning a suspect. She then tells him she hasn't seen or heard from him since he retired from the hospital. Upon being asked why he left, she simply says because of personal reasons. However, she knows why, and has decided to outright lie. We then discover why Fiormi is asking about the doctor. He states he has become close to one of his relatives, saying that, quote, it was she who asked me to find him. Rico then says that she does not believe that the doctor had any relatives. They go back and forth for a while on this, with coming to the conclusion when Fiormi says, please, I have to find him. There's a girl who needs him. Can you help me? Of course, she avoids helping him. It would seem that they're both keeping secrets from each other. We can fast forward to the end of the scene, as there is no new information present here. It ends with Ryuko setting their appointment for next week. Fiormi rushes out. After this, we shift back to the nightmare with Fiormi. As he leaves the room, we are greeted by another unsettling image. A hallway, with gore lining the walls. Fiormi describes it as looking as if somebody sprayed the walls with pig guts. Then he begins to think more of the world he once knew. Knowing intelligently that the walls should be painted white and that the monsters he sees are human. But confounded to this twisted nightmare, he continues pondering about his condition. As he is a medical student studying neurology, he understands what is going on with him on a basic level. Although many other patients have developed neurological disorders after going through the same treatment as he did, none are as strange as his. Calling himself yet another failure, showing his dark and cynical outlook on life, in stark contrast to the worldview he had before he woke up in this nightmare. Resigning himself to his fate, he hurries home. We can see that the sky is dark, with no visible light. Yet another gruesome background, this one by far the scariest. Something about the soulless sky mixed with creepy music. This makes the scene a lot more terrifying. As a distorted version of an ambient background song plays as he arrives home, he then begins to tell us, the viewer, of his parents' funeral. How he could not go because he was in intensive care, and how he had to sell his father's business for money to sustain himself. As he opens the door to his house, he remarks that it's probably best that he is alone now, as his parents would never allow him to live with some strange girl. Just as he enters the home, we hear a voice calling out to him, saying, "Welcome home." In response, he says, "I'm home, Saya."